Bandeyam Shigaro Shiyata Parakamalam Shigarun Vaishnavam Cha Shirupam Sagrajatam Saganaraganatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shirada Krishna Paran Sahagana Lalita Shivishkam Bikam Cha Om Agyana Timarandasya Gyanajana Shalakaya Chakshuru Milidam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Gurava Bhishtam Supurakam Gurganara Sesha Sambhushitam Chintya Chintya Samasta Veda Nipanam Shri Rupa Patanugam Govindamidam Ujwalam Bharatanam Bhaktyan Vidam Sundaram Mande Vishwa Guruncha Divyat Bhagavat Prem Noe Bijapradam Devam Divyatanam Suchandavaranam Balarka Chelanchitam Sandrananda Puram Sadeka Varanam Vairagya Vidyamburim Sri Siddhanta Nidhim Subhakti Lasitam Saraswatanam Baram Bandetam Shivaram Madeka Sharanam Nyashishwara Sridharam Mancha Kalpatarubhyas Chakripa Sindhu Bhyevacha Patitanam Pavenibhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Namo Mahabharanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gauratavishe Namah. So we're hearing from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, translation and commentary by Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupad. This is Madhya-lila, chapter 25. The residents of Varanasi become Vaishnavas. So we'll start with verse number 222, and we're hearing about Mahaprabhu is now returning to Jagannath Puri from Varanasi. He's gone through the jungle, the forest of Jarikanda, and now he's arrived in near to Nilachala, to Puri. Eta Mahaprabhu Jadi Niladri Chalila Nirjana Banapate Jaite Mahasukapaila. As Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was returning to Jagannath Puri, he passed through the solitary forest, and he received great pleasure in doing so. So there's not so many people, and Mahaprabhu is just happy going through the forest with the animals. And these are tigers, elephants, deer, peacocks up later. So, Suke Chali Aishi Prabhu, Balabhadra Sange, Purvavat Mrigadi Sange, Koila Nana Range. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu happily returned to Jagannath Puri in the company of his servant Balabhadra Bhattacharya. As previously, the Lord performed many pleasing pastimes with the forest animals. Ataranalate Asi Bhattacharya Brahmane Pataya Bolaila Nija Bhaktagane. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu arrived at a place known as Ataranala near Jagannath Puri, he sent Balabhadra Bhattacharya to call for his devotees. Shunya Bhakteragan Jena Punarapi Jila Dehe Prana Aile Jena Indriya Utila. Hearing news of the Lord's arrival from Balabhadra Bhattacharya, that's Mahaprabhu's servant, traveling with him. Hearing news of the Lord's arrival from Balabhadra Bhattacharya, hordes of devotees became so happy that they seemed to be getting their lives back. It was as though their consciousness had returned to their bodies. Their senses also became agitated. Anande Bivala Bhaktagan Dana Aila Narendre Asiya Sabe Prabhore Milila. Being overwhelmed with great pleasure, all the devotees hastily went to see the Lord. They met him on the banks of the celebrated lake called Narendra Sarovara. Puri Bharatira Prabhu Banilena Charan Dohe Mahaprabhu Re Koila Prema Alingan. When Paramananda Puri and Brahmananda Bharati met Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The Lord offered them his respectful obeisances due to their being godbrothers of his spiritual master. They both then embraced Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in love and affection. This is Paramananda Puri and Brahmananda Bharati. They're godbrothers of Mahaprabhu's spiritual master, Ishwara Puri. So because they're considered, you can say, like Guru Bhai, godbrothers of Mahaprabhu's spiritual master. Well, Guru Varga, actually Guru Varga, they're related to Mahaprabhu's spiritual master. So when Paramananda Puri and Brahmananda Bharati met Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Lord offered them his respectful obeisances due to their being godbrothers of his spiritual master. They both then embraced Mahaprabhu in love and affection. Damodar Swarup, Pandita Gadadhar, Jagadananda Kashishwara, Govinda Bakreshwar. Devotees like Swarup Damodar, Gadadhar Pandit, Jagadananda, Kashishwar, Govinda, and Barkeshwara all came to meet the Lord. Kashi Mishra, Pradyumna Mishra, Pandita Damodar, Haridas Thakur Ara, Pandita Shankar. Kashi Mishra, Pradyumna Mishra, Damodar Pandit, Haridas Thakur, and Shankar Pandit also came there to meet the Lord. So, there's Swarup Damodar and Damodar Pandit. Persons. Kashi Mishra, Pradyumna Mishra, Damodar Pandit, Haridas Thakur, and Shankar Pandit also came there to meet the Lord. Arasa Bhakta Prabhu Charane Padila, Sab Alingiya Prabhu Premavishta Hoila. Arasa Bhakta Prabhu Charane Padila, Saba Alangiya Prabhu Premavishta Hoila. All the other devotees also came and fell down at the Lord's lotus feet. In return, Mahaprabhu embraced them all with great ecstatic love. Ananda Samudre Base Sabbhaktagane Sabaloya Chale Prabhu Jagannatha Darshane. Thus they all merged in the ocean of transcendental bliss. Then the Lord and all his devotees proceeded toward the temples of Jagannath, toward the temple of Jagannath to see the deities. So this is the conclusion of the Madhya-lila. The Madhya-lila is about Mahaprabhu's traveling. He travels to South India. He tries to go to Vrindaban. Only there he recruits or he saves Rupan and Sanatan Goswami, who were in the employment of the Muslim government. Then he goes to Vrindaban. He goes to Varanasi. He goes to also to Prayag. The whole Madhya-lila is about, he travels through the forest of Jharkhand. The whole Madhya-lila is about Mahaprabhu's traveling. And now we're in the end of the Madhya-lila, and Mahaprabhu is returned to Jagannath Puri. So the next chapter will begin the Antya-lila. So Jagannath Deki Prabhu Premavishta Hoila Bhakta Sange Bahukana Nritya Gita Koila. As soon as Mahaprabhu saw Lord Jagannath in the temple, he was immediately overwhelmed with love and affection. He chanted and danced with his devotees for a long time. Jagannath Sevak Ani Mala Prasadadila Tulasi Paricha Asi Charana Bandila. The priest immediately brought them flower garlands and prasadam. The temple's watchman, who was named Tulasi, also came and offered his obeisances to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu Aila Grame Kolahala Hoila Sarvabhauma Ramananda Bhaninatha Milila. When the news spread that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had arrived at Jagannath Puri, devotees like Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, Ramananda Rai, and Vaninath Rai all came to meet him. Sabha Sange Loya Prabhu Mishra Vasa Aila Sarvabhauma Pandita Gosai Nimantrana Koila. The Lord and all his devotees then went to the residence of Kashi Mishra. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and Pandita Gosai also invited the Lord to dine at their homes. Pandita Gosai is Gadadhar Pandit. Prabhu Kohe Ma Prasada Ana E Stane Sabha Sange Ihan Aje Korimu Bojane. Accepting their invitations, the Lord asked them to bring all the prasadam there so that he could eat it with his devotees. So bringing Jagannath Prasad for everyone, and the Lord will take with all the devotees. Tabe duhe Jagannatha Prasadanila Sabha Sange Mahaprabhu Bhojana Korila. Upon receiving Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's order, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and Pandit Gosai brought sufficient prasadam from the temple of Jagannath. The Lord then dined with everyone at his own place. Eta Kohilun Prabhu Deki Vrindaban Puna Korilena Jaiche Niladre Gaman. Thus I have described how Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu returned to Jagannath Puri from Vrindaban. Ihaje Shradakori Koraye Shavan Achirat Payase Chaitanya Charan. Whoever hears Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes with faith and love very soon attains shelter at the Lord's lotus feet. Madhya-lila Rakorilun E Digdarshan Chaya Batsara Koila Jaiche Gamana Gaman. I have thus given a summary description of the Madhya-lila, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's travels to and from Jagannath Puri. Indeed, the Lord traveled to and fro continuously for 6 years. I have thus given a summary description of the Madhya-lila, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's travels to and from Jagannath Puri. Indeed, the Lord traveled to and fro continuously for 6 years. Sesha Ashtadasha Vatsara Nila Chalibas Bhaktigana Sange Kore Kirtana Bilas. After taking sannyas at the age of 24, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu lived another 24 years. For 6 of these years, he traveled extensively throughout India, sometimes going to Jagannath Puri and sometimes leaving. After traveling for 6 years, the Lord fixed his residence at Jagannath Puri and stayed there for the 18 remaining years of his life. During these 18 years, he mainly chanted Hare Krishna with his devotees. So Mahaprabhu's 6 years of traveling to and from Jagannath Puri, that's the Madhya-lila. That's what it's all about, Mahaprabhu's travels. Madhya-lila Rakrama Ebe Kore Anubad Anuvada Koile Hoy Katara Ashwad. I shall now review the chapters of the Madhya-lila chronologically so that one can relish the transcendental features of these topics. So this is a summary of what was given in the 25 chapters of the Madhya-lila. Pratama Parichede Sesha Lilara Sutragan Tate Madhye Kon Bagar Bistara Varnan. In the first chapter, I've given a synopsis of the last pastimes Antya-lila. Within this chapter is a vivid description of some of the pastimes of the Lord that took place toward the end of his life. So it's a summary of what will come in also in the Antya-lila. That's in the first chapter. And you can understand some reasons for that. Like, for instance, Srila Prabhupada, he was translating the Srimad Bhagavatam. And the 10th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, about 90 chapters, it's all Krishna's Leela, his appearance, and all his activities. So Srila Prabhupada didn't know if he would finish the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. He's translating. He translated 9 cantos, but he didn't. Actually, Srila Prabhupada didn't finish the 10th canto. He only got as far as the 13th chapter, the illusion of Lord Brahma when he stole the calves and cowherd boys. But Srila Prabhupada, in anticipation, he'd already written a full description of the whole, chapter by chapter of the whole 10th canto. It's in the Krishna book. It doesn't have all the verses with the verse-by-verse translation, but it has all the activities. So, in the first chapter of the Madhya-lila, Krishnadas Kaviraj gives a summary of what will come also in Antya-lila. Dvitiya parichede prabhur pralapa varnan tati madhye nana bhaver digdarashan. In the second chapter, I've described Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's talking like a crazy man. Within this chapter, it is indicated how Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu manifested his different emotional moods. Tritiya parichede prabhur kohilun sanyas acharya gari jaiche korela vilas. In the third chapter, I've described the Lord's acceptance of the renounced order and how he enjoyed his pastimes at the home of Advaita Acharya. Chaturte Madhava Purir Charitra Ashvadan Gopala Stapana Kira Churira Varnan, because also Mahaprabhu's travels are all related to his taking sannyas. He takes sannyas, and then sannyas, that's part of the business of sannyasis, to travel and preach. So Mahaprabhu took sannyas. Then in the fourth chapter, I have described Madhavendra Puri's installation of the Gopal deity, as well as Gopinath stealing a pot of condensed milk at Ramuna. And that's all because Mahaprabhu is going from Navadip to Jagannath Puri, and he travels through the temples of where Gopal and where Gopal deity is, and also it travels to where then the Gopal deity had been moved to I believe Chatak, not Chatak, what's the name? Katak in Orissa, and then to where Ramuna, where the Gopinath deity is. In the fourth chapter, I've described Madhavendra Puri's installation of the Gopal deity, as well as Gopinath stealing a pot of condensed milk at Ramuna. So that stolen pot was given to Mahaprabhu, so that's a beautiful. All these are pastimes, but this is just reminding us of what we heard. Panchame Shaki Gopal Charitra Varna Nityananda Kohe Prabhu Korana Ashvadan. In the fifth chapter, I've narrated the story of Sakshi Gopal. Lord Nityananda narrated this while Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu listened. So Mahaprabhu was traveling with Nityananda and the devotees, and when they came to the temple of Sakshi Gopal, then there's a description how the deity walked all the way to South India, to where to Vidyanagar, where to be a witness that the old Brahmin had indeed promised his daughter in charity to the young Brahmin who was helping him. So that's the whole story there. Shashti Sarvabhaumer Korila Udar Saptame Tirtha Jatra Vasudeva Nishtar. In the sixth chapter, I have told how Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was delivered. And in the seventh chapter, I have described the Lord's tour of different holy places and his deliverance of Vasudeva. Vasudeva was a leper. Mahaprabhu. he was sad because he thought he had missed Mahaprabhu, but when he was there lamenting because Mahaprabhu had already come there and gone, but then when Vasudeva was lamenting, all of a sudden Mahaprabhu came back to where he was unexpectedly and embraced him. And when Mahaprabhu embraced him, all his leprosy disappeared. Ashtame Ramananda Samvara Bishtar Apane Shunila Sarva Siddhanterasar. In the 8th chapter, I've recorded the Lord's elaborate discussion with Ramananda Roy. The Lord personally listened as Ramananda gave the conclusive essence of all Vedic literature. So that chapter is called the Ramananda Sambad, the 8th chapter. Guru Maharaj would read that chapter very much, and that chapter, Mahaprabhu accepts Ramananda Roy, who's a Grihasta. Mahaprabhu accepts him as like spiritual master. And Ramananda Roy knows that Mahaprabhu is the Lord, and he complains, how can you accept me in this way? But Mahaprabhu says, Kiba Vipra, Kiba Nyasi Shudra Kenino, Ye Krishna Tattva Veta Se Guru Hoy. Doesn't matter if someone's a Grihasta or a sannyasi. Jai Krishna Tattva Veda. If he can speak about Krishna, then say Guru Hoy. Then he can be a guru. So, in that sense, Ramananda Roy stays a Grihasta. He's not becoming an initiating guru or anything like that. He's just giving. Mahaprabhu's asking questions, and he's giving the answers. Navame kohilun dakin tirtha brahman, dashame kohilun sarva Vaishnava milan. In the 9th chapter, I've described the Lord's tour of South India and the different places of pilgrimage. In the 10th chapter, I have described his meeting with all his devotees. Ekadashe Shri Mandire Veda Sankirtan Dwarashe Gundicha Mandir Marjana Kalan. In the 11th chapter, I have described the great chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra that surrounded the Lord. In the 12th chapter, I have given a narration of the cleansing and washing of the Gundicha temple. Trayodashe Rata Age Prabhuranartan Chaturdashe Herapanchami Jatra Darshan. In the 13th chapter, I have described Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's dancing before the chariot of Jagannath in the Ratha Yatra. In the 14th chapter, there is an account of the Hera Panchami function, which is also called Lakshmi Vijay. Taramadye Braja Devir Bhavera Shravan Swarup Kohila Prabhu Koila Ashvadan. Also in the 14th chapter is an account of how the emotional ecstasy of the gopis was described by Swarup Damodar and tasted by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Panchadashe Bhakter Guna Sri Mukhe Kohila Sarvabhauma Gare Bhikka Amoga Tarila. In the 15th chapter, I've described how Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu highly praised the qualities of his devotees and accepted lunch at the house of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. At that time, he delivered Amoga. Shodashe Vrindavana Jatra Ghorade Shapate Punanila Chale Aila Natashala Hoite. In the 16th chapter, I have described how Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu departed for Vrindaban and journeyed through Bengal. He later returned to Jagannath Puri from Kanai Natashala. So all these chapters are the whole pastimes, and I have all the chapters and all the readings. They're online on the site I have at what is it? It's called Seva Ashram Readings. Seva Ashram Readings, and it's on what is it? These readings in the morning, they're on Facebook, but the compilation of all the readings for all the chapters of many times reading Chaitanya Charitamrita by date and by chapters and all that's on my YouTube channel, which is Seva Ashram readings. So you can also hear this, all the chapters of Madhya-lila, Adi-lila, and many times, there's at least 3 times, 4 times at least, it's all recording by videos of all the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Shodase Vrindavana Jatra Goda Desha Pate Puna Nila Chali Aila Natashala Hoite. In the 16th chapter, I have described how Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu departed for Vrindaban and journeyed through Bengal. He later returned to Jagannath Puri from Kanai Natashala. I mention that because I'm always trying to read the Chaitanya Charitamrita. So, Shaptadashe Vanamate Maturagaman Astadashe Vrindavana Viharavarnan. In the 17th chapter, I've described the Lord's journey through the great forest of Jarikhanda and his arrival at Mathura. In the 18th chapter, there's a description of his tour of the forest of Vrindaban. Unabimshe Mathura Hoite Prayaga Gaman Taramadye Shri Rupere Shakti Sancharan. In the 19th chapter, I've described how the Lord returned to Prayag from Mathura and empowered Sri Rupa Goswami to spread devotional service. Vimshate Parichede Sanataneram Milan. Vimshate Parichede Sanataneram Milan. Taramadye Bhagavaner Swarupa Varnan. In the 20th chapter, the Lord's meeting with Sanatan Goswami is described. The Lord described the personal features of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in depth. So that chapter is called The Opulences of Sri Krishna, and it's Mahaprabhu describing, this is actually Sambandha Gyan, the knowledge of one's relationship with the Lord. Mahaprabhu is instructing Sanatan Goswami in Sambandha Gyan in that chapter. Okay. Ekabimshe Krishnaishvarya Madhurya Barnan Dvavimshe Vivida Sadhana Bhaktir Barnan. In the 21st chapter, there is a description of Krishna's beauty and opulence. Okay, okay. And in the 22nd chapter, there is a description of the twofold discharge of devotional service. Okay. So sadhana bhakti is described, and then sambandha abhideya and prayojana. The relationship was described to Sanatan Goswami. One's relationship with the Lord, the process of devotional service, and the goal, which is love of Godhead. Trayo vimshe prema bhakti rasarakatan chaturvimshe atmarama shlokarta varnan. In the 23rd chapter, there is a description of the mellows of transcendental loving service, and in the 24th chapter, I've described how the Lord analyzed the Atmarama verse. So the Atmarama verse is 24th, the 23rd will be prayojana, about the goal of life. The 22nd will be the process of devotional service, abhideya, and the 21st will be description of Sambandha, Krishna's beauty and his opulences. So in the 20th chapter, the Lord's meeting with Sanatan Goswami is described. The Lord described the personal features of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in depth. Okay. Panchavimshe Kashi Vashire Vaishnava Karan Kashi Hoite Puna Nila Chale Agaman. In the 25th chapter, there is a description of how the residents of Varanasi were converted to Vaishnavism, and how the Lord returned the Nilachala Jagannath Puri from Varanasi. So this is what we're reading now, the 25th chapter. Pamsha Vimshati Parichede E Koilun Ashvad Jahara Shravane Hoy Grantart Ashvad. I have thus summarized these pastimes in the 25th chapter. Hearing this summary, one can understand the whole purport of this scripture. Sankepi Kohilun E Madhya-lila Rasar Koti Grande Varnana Najai Iharabishtar. I have now summarized the entire subject matter of the Madhya-lila. These pastimes cannot be described elaborately, even in millions of books. Jiva Nishtarite Prabhu Brahmila Deshe Deshe Apane Ashvari Bhakti Korila Prakashe. To deliver all fallen souls, the Lord traveled from place to place. It says Desh. Deshe, deshe. Deshe, deshe means from one country to another. So it could be translated, to deliver all fallen souls, the Lord traveled from country to country. He personally tasted the transcendental pleasure of devotional service, and he simultaneously spread the cult of devotion everywhere. So deshe, deshe means from country to country. But India, each place is like a different country. Whether it's Bengal, then to Bengal and Orissa, and then South India, and then, you know, every place they speak a different language, and they have different, like in Bengal, Bengali, in Orissa, Oriyan, and South, then in Jagannath Puri is in Orissa. Then if you go, you can go. They'll speak Tamil, Telugu, Telugu. What is the language? I lived there for so long and I can't remember. Tamil, then you go into, like I was in Hyderabad, and anyway, Deshe Deshe means different countries. To deliver all fallen souls, the Lord traveled from country to country. He personally tasted the transcendental pleasure of devotional service, and he simultaneously spread the cult of devotion everywhere. So when he went to meet with Ramananda Roy, that's by the banks of the Godavari, and that's another place in South India. That's Andhra Pradesh. Where is it? And there they speak Telugu. Yes. Okay. Krishna Tattva, Bhakti Tattva, Prema Tattva Sar, Bhava Tattva, Rasa Tattva, Lila Tattva are. Krishna consciousness means understanding the truth of Krishna, the truth of devotional service, the truth of love of Godhead, the truth of emotional ecstasy, the truth of transcendental mellows, and the truth of the pastimes of the Lord. So all these are part of devotional service. Krishna Tattva, understanding about Krishna. Bhakti Tattva, understanding about devotional service. Prema Tattva Sar, understanding the essence of Krishna Prema, love of Godhead. Bhava Tattva means ecstasy, the ecstasy of devotional sentiments. Rasa Tattva means having a personal relationship with the Lord. Rasa literally means taste. So Rasa Tattva, like the food, the taste of food is rasa, but this is referring to Rasa Tattva, means the taste of having a direct relationship with the Lord. That's called a rasa. and Lila Tattva are. Lila means the Lord's divine pastime. Krishna consciousness means understanding the Krishna Tattva, the truth of Krishna. Bhakti Tattva, the truth of devotional service. Prema Tattva, the truth of love of Godhead. Bhava Tattva, the truth of emotional ecstasy. Lila, what is this? Lila Tattva? Yeah, Lila, Rasa Tattva. The truth of relationship, of one's personal relationship with the Lord. And Lila Tattva, the truth of the pastimes of the Lord. Sri Bhagavata Tattva Ras Korila Prachare Krishna Tuya Bhagavata Janaila Samsare. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has personally preached transcendental truths and mellows in Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam and the Supreme Personality of Godhead are identical, for Srimad Bhagavatam is the sound incarnation of Sri Krishna. Hariharaya Nama Krishna Jaravaya Nama. Hariharaya Nama Krishna Jaravaya Nama. Jaravaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Nama. Jaravaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Nama. Gopa Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan. Gopa Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan. Giridhari Gopinatha Mananamohan. Giridhari Gopinatha Mananamohan. Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita Chandra. Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita Chandra. Janardan Shiva Sari Gora Bhakta Vrinda. Janardan Shiva Sari Gora Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Rupa Sanatan Bhakta Raghunath. Jai Rupa Sanatan Bhakta Raghunath. Shri Jiva Gopala Bhakta Rasa Raghunath. Shri Jiva Gopala Bhakta Rasa Raghunath. H.I. Gosai Gauri Janana Bandhan. H.I. Gosai Gauri Janana Bandhan. Chaite Vignana Shami Stapuran. Chaite Vignana Shami Stapuran. H.I. Gosai Jar Mui Taradas. H.I. Gosai Jar Mui Taradas. Kasabar Pada Renu Mora Panchagras. Kasabar Pada Renu Mora Panchagras. Kader Charana Sevi Bhakta Sanibas. Kader Charana Sevi Bhakta Sanibas. Janame More Amilas. Janame More Amilas. H.I. Gosai Jabe Braje Koilabas. H.I. Gosai Jabe Braje Koilabas. Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Korila Prakash. Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Korila Prakash. Anande Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindaban. Anande Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindaban. Shri Guru Vaishnava Pade Majai Aman. Shri Guru Vaishnava Pade Majai Aman. Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Koriyas. Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Koriyas. Harinam Sankirtana Kohe Naradamoda. Harinam Sankirtana Kohe Naradamoda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Nitai Gora Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Nitai Gora Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Nitai Gora Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Nitai Gora Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo. Jai Saparikara Shishi Guru Guranga Gandharvika Giridhari Ju Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Tilak Neri Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Nirmalacharya Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramansa Paravajaka Charyashta Tara Sarashi Shrimad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramansa Paravajaka Charyashta Tara Sarashi Shrimad Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Sanatan Saraswati Goswami Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Gaur Kishordas Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Satchidananda Bhaktivedanta Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Rupanuga Guru Varga Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Shri Rupa Sanatana Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopal Bhatta Dash Raghunath Shad Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Premsigo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasni Shri Gaura Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Vishvavaranya Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupad Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Ki Jai. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Kushamasha Maharaj Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai. Shri Navadip Dham Ki Jai. Shri Ramayapur Ki Jai. Saparshada Shri Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai. Saparshada Srimad Mahaprabhu Ki Jai. Shri Koladvip Ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Saraswati Mat Ki Jai. Soquel Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Seva Ashram Ki Jai. Ganga Devi Ki Jai. Tulasi Maharani Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Shri Vrindaban Dham Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Go Gopi Govardhan Shyam Kuna Radha Kunda Kalindi Yamuna Jo Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. All the assembled devotees Ki Jai. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo.